Hi guys, welcome back for another one. We're continuing here with Transport Fever 2, our Apex challenge. Every product to every city on a tropical map. Yes, you can see the water in the background. Things are really restrictive. However, before we kick this episode off, I just want to take a look at the bank balance. Okay, I got a lot of money in the bank, but from the last time we looked at this and last time I talked about this, we've seen a massive improvement. I mean, we are bringing in about 10, close to 12 million range. That's kind of the range we're in. A year, or a year in a game cycle, as I have it on half speed. That's great. That's fantastic. That's way up from the 1-2 million we were making per year just a few episodes ago. I believe that was when we showed these numbers. And the biggest change is on the road category, as they are bringing in about 8 million consistently per year. And I think before we were only like a million there. The other thing positive I see is that railroads in the positive, water's in the positive, and a lot of that is because we've done the one thing that I really need to do, we were able to do, and that was to max out the rates of every road route, or most of the road routes. We'll say most of them, maybe some of them still need tweak, but we maxed them out, and that makes a huge difference across the board. And you can see why, going back 10, 12 so episodes ago, why I was so like frustrated at only having Asian vehicles and not giving me upgrade choices in the early, like the first 50 years of the game, because I knew I needed that upgrade. And this is why a lot of people begin when they start playing these Apex series or do Transport series, they don't want to deal with the upgrading, they don't want to deal with the struggles of the early game, so they'll start with the year 2000 and then they'll just build from there. I like I like starting with the early stuff and then trying to scale up from there. That's personally the way I like to play, but I can see why. I probably would save myself a lot of episodes if I just started in the year 2000. But anyways, before we begin here today, the other thing we mentioned at the end it was near the end of last episode, so if you didn't stick to it, you probably didn't hear this part, so I'm going to go over it again. So my last Apex challenge, right, we've had to produce every good from two different plants, factories, depots, wherever they are. We had to produce them from two different sources. So that's pretty much my goal going forward here, is producing every good in two different factories. We already have it being produced once somewhere, and we have every city being fed something, along with passengers being fed in. We will get a couple of different upgrades as time moves on that we'll be able to take advantage of and make things a little bit more efficient, but for now, that's where we're at. Fuel is the first one that we now have producing in two separate locations. And I think what I want to do for this playthrough, something a little bit unique, is once I produce a second good, is connecting every city up to that resource if they currently demand it. So that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on getting fuel to every city that demands it. And I believe it's only two that we're currently not servicing. Palm Bay doesn't demand it. Ever doesn't demand it. Winston doesn't demand it. And Richmond doesn't demand it. We have Gresham that demands it, doesn't have it yet. And we have Torrance that demands it, doesn't have it yet. We are already servicing Lancaster and Madison. So that's kind of where we're at. The other thing, while time was moving on, I don't mean to let a little time move on between episodes. I technically just let the game play at one time speed after I'm done recording, or when I've loaded up the save and I go do something else and I come back to let the game, work out its little bugs and glitches it likes to do when it first loads up. So time sometimes naturally moves on while I'm, I let the game run while I go do something or take care of something, in between recordings. But anyways, with that said, we did unlock a new vehicle, and I do want to unleash that new vehicle on this route. I told you guys I wouldn't keep upgrading every route every time we got a new vehicle, and that is true. But for this one, I want to make an exception. So if we go to manage vehicles here, we're going to go ahead and replace them. We got these vehicles unlocked, and we have this vehicle here that is specific for the fuel, oil, and crude line. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and grab that and put that on here. One, I think it's going to be good for the thumbnail. Hopefully I remember to take a picture of it for the thumbnail, as I like having new vehicles and stuff showing up in my thumbnails. And two, it just makes more sense, right? Doesn't it make more sense to have a vehicle that's exclusively designed for this kind of route, having it run it? I think so. So let's go ahead and replace this one here too. Manage vehicle. Replace. All right, and then the other thing we need to do is, since we did that, is we have to check up on the rates. We're going to go ahead and go on 3 times speed here, so the rates kind of update a little faster. We got to get my filters on, new save, or new load, I should say. So this one we need a rate of 400. We're a little past the 400, so we're going to get rid of somebody. We get rid of one, we drop down. Okay, we're only going to be able to get rid of one. We get rid of any more, we'll leave below 400. We want to keep that 400 rate because that fuel number is, or that money number for road lines is fantastic. Now these guys, we only want a rate of what our city demands. So we have We should have a rate of 93. Currently rates 117. So we probably should get rid of somebody. We'll pick on this one and we'll say sell it. And we're down to 109. I didn't catch how much it dropped by. Let's go ahead and get rid of one more. And you are 99. Okay, that's good. That's good. We can live with 99. All right. Now that that's all good to go. So we're going to go ahead and deliver fuel. So first off, let's focus on Gresham. Let's do Gresham first because it's going to be the least complex one. So we have two options, right? We either take it there by the road. We can take it there by water. I don't think water is an option because we'd have to be on this bay. And it's actually, there's actually solid land there. Thanks for that. There's actually solid land there. So it's not like we can actually pass through. And we'd have to deliver a PR overload trip. All that fantastic stuff. Don't want to do that. And train's kind of out of the question too, because to get a train to deliver that there too, at this day and age, I would have to take one, and I would never get my money back. And the main reason I don't get my money back is because their demand's only 16. There's no way I could put a train together to hit the demand of 16 and make a profit. Just not going to happen. I would love to put a train on this one. Don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love it. It's just not possible. I'll never make money on it. So what I need to do is I need to do a road route. It's going to take a lot of vehicles to hit the, even I think it's going to take a lot of vehicles to hit the rate of 16. And that is a pretty long ways away. I'd really love to be able to do train. There's just no way to make, if it was machines or food, I think we can get away with doing train, but for 16, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. So now we have to figure out how we're getting a road in here. We do have some obstacles we need to overcome, such as this steel factory here in this depot. We may need to move this depot. I would like the road line to kind of come out and follow the train. We're going to have probably deleting some farm fields, but I think it makes most sense to have it follow the train tracks. And this is kind of down in a valley, so I guess we could bridge over and then connect back up. So let's go ahead and get that done. I think this is a good call. We haven't done fast forward for a few episodes now. I think this is a good call to do a fast forward build here. I'm just gonna put the road line in and a fast forward build, and then I'll be right back and we'll pick it up from there. All right, so our road line is in, and I had an unexpected turn. I wasn't expecting when I wanted to do this that we are now in the age. I probably should have known by the year, but I didn't realize we were in the age where it's now all like paved asphalt roads. Like there is no longer the dirt roads or anything like that. And eventually, I think all my dirt roads will upgrade to these paved roads. So normally, right, when we do small country roads, we're doing these roads right here. And the main reason why I didn't, let's just put that down real quick. The main reason why I didn't continue with our normal small country roads and went to this one is just because of the speed limit. So with the small country road, we have a speed limit, max speed limit of 60 kilometers an hour. As with the medium country road, we have a maximum speed of 80 kilometers an hour. It doesn't seem that important, but when we start getting upgraded vehicles that actually can go these speeds, we're actually going to want roads that actually where we can meet them. So having a road speed limit of 60 kilometers an hour where my vehicles have a range or are able to go faster than 60 is just going to slow things down and actually going to give me a worse ratio of expenses to profit. However, if I do something where I can actually get a better speed limit, it'll cost me more upfront, right, to build. But that structure overall in the long term is going to make me a lot more money. We'll be able to employ less vehicles to get the same amount of production. And that's kind of where we're going. Now, we could have went up bigger for 100 kilometers an hour, but I'm not doing it at this point. I'm just going to stick with the 80, as the 100 kilometers don't really matter until we get past the year 2000. And I don't know if I really need them. We'll make that decision later. But for right now, 80 kilometers an hour, great. Everything's ready to go. I'll put a depot down in Gresham so we can go ahead and put the line in. So let's go ahead and do that. New line. We're going from this depot all the way in here to Gresham to this depot. And we want to make it red. And this is, sorry, my pen's on the way. This is road delivery fuel Gresham. Now I think we're going to run into another problem here, and I'm going to get this line established, and then I'm going to talk about the problem. So we go ahead, grab some vehicles. Once again, we got these vehicles that are tailor-made for this, so we're going to go put those on. We're going to set with 4. Select them all and fuel to Gresham. All right, so problem that we're probably going to run into. We may run into. We'll see. Anyways, these are going to get established. Actually, I don't think we're going to run into it quick right at this moment. So let's start at the beginning. We can produce a production of 400. Here it turns crude into oil from a 2-to-1 ratio, which means our maximum production from Madison Oil Refinery is 200. Then we delivered a rate of 200 down to here, and it's a 1-to-1, so the maximum amount of fuel we can output is 200. Now now let's say between Madison and Gresham, their demand's above 200, which is not. We only have a demand of 93, and we have a demand of 16. They're well under 200, which means this fuel refinery and everything that I have set up will produce enough. I got to backpedal on that when I say enough. It should produce enough that I do not need to have another source of crude coming in to boost production anymore. Now, my one issue is that the route that is delivering to Madison is currently picking up oil, delivering the fuel, it's producing the fuel, and then they're delivering the fuel to Madison. The problem is that their rate's not set to 200, their rate's set to Madison's 200. So what I need to do here in Madison is increase the rate by 16. So I have two ways. I can increase rate to make sure it matches. So 16 is, let's see, I want to say 109. 109, yeah, 109 is good. So I just need to have a rate of 109. I currently do not have that. So here I simply would want to put a vehicle on. The second option is I can actually have these guys run at a rate of 200. At this point, the fuel has upgraded. So at this point, we probably can do that, as this can produce 200, and it can also deliver 200 because we can accept 200 over here. So I think to not have to come back to this, I'm actually going to set this production to 200. So right now it is a production of 102. Let's go ahead and manage vehicle. Let's go ahead and put 2 on the, we have 10 vehicles. Yeah, let's go ahead and put 4 on the line. Clone. And while those settle themselves out, let's go take a look at this fuel to Gresham. We have a rate of 14. So we can probably get away with just putting 1 more on. And Gresham's now at a rate of 17. That didn't go up as far as I thought it would go up more than that. 5 vehicles, 17, it's like 3 each. I'll let it sit there for right now, but I probably will have to add more on sooner rather than later. Let's go back to this line. It's throwing 3 times speed, so the rates recalculate faster. I can't believe it's only one. I thought for sure it'd be over 150. All right, so we're not quite where we need to be, so let's do another 4. 183. We know that number needs to settle a little bit. All right, I think I'm gonna leave that be, as they should be running full for the time being, and then at least when it comes to porting where I add on a 3rd city, I can recalculate then. All right, so with that said, that is Madison and Gresham. Now it's time to figure this one out down here. So both Lancaster and Torrance, their main demand is fuel, so they're going to demand a lot of fuel, and between the two of them, we cannot produce enough from one oil well, which is this one up here. So we need to add in a second oil well. And honestly, what I really wanted to do, there used to be an oil well up here that I wanted to use, ship down. I know this kind of blew up some plans. So the question is there another oil well nearby? And I was trying to look over here on this coast, and the answer is no. We do have some up here, which actually that's pretty interesting up there. We have these over here. Unfortunately, they're all in the way. I really need fuel over here. All right, so we're going to be delivering fuel back over from here over. So we probably could do crude. The problem is, the other problem I have is this is getting very crowded. And this right here could mess things up too. Could do a separate route. There's just no way. I might have to make an exception here, guys. I don't know what I was thinking when I started recording this episode, but the plan was to bring oil in, and I don't think I really figured this one out exactly, because yeah, I have not figured this one exactly. This part right here is what's really messing me up, and not having a refinery that takes crude to oil in this area is definitely hurting too. All right, so I think we're gonna leave that be as is, not going to touch it. So I think at this point we need to look at another good to add in while we're getting produced in 2 different areas. And I think my next favorite choice is going to be construction material. Pretty easy to set up, pretty easy to manage, and we can definitely disperse. So we have a construction plant up here delivering to Palm Bay, Everett, and Winston-Salem. I think because of this location, I think this is a shoe-in to also go to Gresham whenever it will demand it. I'm pretty sure by the time we wrap up this series, Gresham will demand 6 goods, so it will definitely go there. So now we need a plant that feeds Madison in the event that it asks for it, Richmond in the event that it asks for it, Torrance, who already does ask for it, and Lancaster. And I think my favorite location is going to be this right here, the stone to construction material. We will ship this across, and it does allow for a ship route to go up to Madison if needed. It does allow a ship route, or it does allow it to deliver straight to Richmond from this plant. Yeah, this is a lot different than the last Apex challenge I had, where we just had a central depot and it delivered all 6 goods to a city from one train. But anyways, and then from here we can definitely go from this stone quarry and deliver back to Torrance. We're gonna have some crossing routes. We'll figure that out. And then eventually, if we need to, we can find a way to get it down to Lancaster, which will be a thing, because if this city's this city's very close to demanding all 6 goods. I think it's 725, 750, somewhere in there. It demands all 6 goods. And you can see we're right outside the number, so that's definitely going to happen. Wow, I'm doing a great job getting Lancaster and stuff. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and get the foundation of this ready to go to wrap up this episode. So I think what we're going to do here is either bring this out. I think I'm going to do it. Okay, we're going to create some massive terraforming that they wouldn't do in real life. I'm just going to call what it is. Let's grab the beach and go out. Getting rid of the water. Maybe it's a little bit of a cheat code, not sure. All right, let's get the smoothing tool. The problem is it's eating in. I don't want it to go in the land. I want it to smooth out to the sea. All right. All right. See if we can get a dock in there. Cargo large. We'll keep it at 1 for now. Yeah, that's not bad. I can live with that. And let's go to the other side. And let's just go right in here. Another Russian train. I tell you what, we got a lot of different locomotive trains and models and stuff in Asian vehicles. We don't get a whole lot of road options, but man, we get a lot of train options. That's for sure. Problem is, I kind of want it straight to that, but then I also want it to match the shoreline. And that sun reflecting off the water is really blinding right now. All right, we're just gonna do it that way. All right, guys, that's where I'm going to leave it for this episode. We're going to, next episode, put this line in, get this connected, get this producing, and then get stuff delivered down to Torrance, construction material. And that just gets us one step closer to every product, to every city. And if you're enjoying the series so far, you guys know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Turn on that notification bell. And don't forget to leave me a comment. And like always, zoom in this little guy right here. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.